Hey guys, today I'll show you a horror thriller TV series named Mieruko-chan, The Girl Who Can See Ghosts, Season 1. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The drama begins in a dim alley where an office lady runs home in a panic. She immediately locks the door behind her only to find that the lights won't turn on, not even the small desk lamp. Just then, the microwave behind her lights up. Startled, she hears a ding, followed by the refrigerator door below swinging open, and a drenched woman in red contorts her way out. The scene shifts to a schoolgirl, Miko, glancing at the paranormal show on Daniel CC Movie Channel and goes back to chatting with her friend. Just then, her younger brother comes out of the bathroom, saying the drain is clogged with a huge clump of hair. Miko shakes her head, saying the hair isn't hers. As the siblings sit on the couch watching TV, no one notices the refrigerator door in the kitchen creaking open on its own. The next morning, Miko is woken up by her alarm. She hears a dog barking outside. Her neighbor is struggling to pull back her dog, which is barking wildly at a pile of trash. Miko yawns. Downstairs, while getting ready, she discovers a handprint on the bathroom mirror. She wipes it off, washes up, and prepares to leave. Her mother and brother both pop their heads out to tell her it's going to rain and that she should take an umbrella. Miko says it's fine. If it really rains, she'll just buy one at a convenience store. Before her father can poke his head out, Miko is already out the door. At school, Miko feels a soft presence press against her back and knows it's her best friend, Hana. Hana immediately starts complimenting the meme charm on Miko's school bag. She's a devoted fan of the Ram Rabbit series and has a large collection of its merchandise at home. While they are chatting, a girl from the next class walks by. She seems to want to say something to Miko, but after a moment's hesitation, she walks away without a word. Later in class, their pregnant homeroom teacher is giving a lecture. Miko's gaze drifts to the schoolyard where a small ball-like object floats by on the wind. During lunch, the weather turns gloomy. Hana mentions she's been eating a lot lately, figuring her metabolism is just fast. She recalls waking up at 3 a.m. to find the fridge empty, her clock stopped, and the lights flickering, joking that maybe they were hungry too. Miko feels a stare from behind her, but when she turns around, she sees nothing. When she turns back, Hana has already stolen a bite of her bread. When Miko goes to the restroom, she hears a noise from the next stall. After leaving her own, she sees that the adjacent stall door is locked, so she turns and leaves. After school, Hana asks Miko to go shopping for new bras with her, complaining that her current ones feel a bit small. As the light turns green, Hana crosses the street first. Miko then notices that the meme charm from her bag is gone. She retraces her steps back to the classroom and finds the charm under the teacher's desk. As she bends down to pick it up, a dark shadow flashes behind her. Miko doesn't get a clear look and pays it no mind. But as soon as she leaves the school, it starts to rain. She rushes to the bus stop, getting completely soaked. Luckily, her phone is fine. Seeing a message from Hana asking how she is, Miko snaps a picture and sends it to her. To her surprise, Hana sends back an identical photo. Miko is stunned. Then her phone emits a robotic female voice, apologizing that it couldn't hear clearly. Suddenly, the photo begins to replicate rapidly on her screen, the entire image distorting until her face transforms into that of a terrifying female ghost with empty eye sockets. Miko drops her phone in terror. She looks around frantically, but no one is there. She picks up the phone just as a new message from Hana pops up. She opens it to find no strange photos, just their normal chat. Miko breathes a sigh of relief, rubbing her eyes and thinking she must be exhausted lately. But the next second she opens her eyes, she's confronted by the massive, bloated face of a grotesque ghost. Miko's heart stops. The ghost stares at Miko, repeatedly asking if she can see it. This spirit has no eyeballs, and a putrid stench emanates from it. Its abdominal cavity is wide open for any smelly turds, with its internal organs clearly visible, and several smaller ghouls are gnawing at its flesh. Miko clutches the hem of her skirt, silently averts her gaze, and complains aloud about how slow the bus is. The spirit leans in closer. Miko looks down at her phone, pretending to be annoyed that Hana hasn't replied. Disappointed, the spirit turns and disappears. Miko has to hold back tears. She saw something she wasn't supposed to, and it was crystal clear, clearer than a 4K video. When Miko gets home, she finds a note at the entrance. Her brother is staying over at a friend's house, and her mother will be home late. As she washes up, the experience at the bus stop replays in her mind, making her feel like her soul is about to leave her body. She then notices another handprint on the mirror. Assuming her brother left it, she wipes it away. But as Miko bends over to spit out her mouthwash, she looks up and sees a ghostly figure behind her in the mirror. Tears instantly well up in her eyes. The ghost slams its hand against the mirror as if identifying her by the print. Its neck neck twists grotesquely as it moves around her head, its face pressing close to hers, asking if she can see it. But Miko covers her eyes, claiming her eyes hurt and that she must have gotten sand in them. She looks down, her whole body trembling, but forces herself to calm down, telling herself it must be a hallucination and will be gone when she looks up. But when she does, it's still there. Miko can only repeat her act. Later, she goes to the kitchen, takes out a bag of salt, piles it into a small mound in the corner of her room for protection. After 2 ghostly encounters, she has figured out a technique. As long as she pretends not to see them, they will eventually disappear. That 20 minutes in the bathroom wasn't for nothing. Lying in bed, Miko researches how to exorcise spirits. The internet suggests prayer beads. Just then, she sees the pile of salt in the corner collapse. She pulls the covers over her head, deciding to just go to sleep. But then she feels movement in her bedding. Miko throws back the covers to find a small, baby-like ghost calling for its mommy. Miko decides she'll buy prayer beads tomorrow. Salt is useless. When she wakes up, she confirms there are no ghosts in her bed, nothing in the mirror, and nothing at the bus stop. Everything seems fine. As Miko enters the hallway, Hana claps her on the shoulder, causing her to jump and shrink against the wall. But remembering she hasn't seen anything strange today, Miko feels a wave of relief, thinking she's finally free. Just then, a dark shadow flashes by the window. Miko freezes, instinctively turning her head. She then asks Hana if they are on the 3rd floor. Hana nods. The shadow that had left suddenly returns and leans in close to Miko, perfectly conveying a congratulation message that she can see ghosts from now on. The big-mouthed ghost with foul breath is right in her face. Miko's eyes meet the ghost, but she can't make a chicken sound. At that moment, Hana shyly asks Miko why she's staring at her. The ghost leaves, thinking Miko can't see it. Hana, however, thinks Miko was about to confess her feelings. In the girls' locker room, students are chatting about the horror show from before. One mentions that a ghost girl climbing out of a fridge is nothing compared to finding a severed head in a cabinet. This terrifies Hana, who is changing clothes. She has always been afraid of such stories, especially after seeing one on TV that made her throw up her dinner. Hearing her classmates' conversation, Hana becomes too scared to open her locker, fearing there's a head inside. With the next class about to start, Miko can't just leave her, so she reaches out and opens the locker. As expected, there's nothing at the bottom. Miko sighs in relief and tells Hana it's okay. But when she looks up, a massive head appears on the top shelf. Miko silently turns away. It's not okay. Something is definitely there. She urges Hana to change quickly. Hana complains about how TV shows these days have plots that aren't scary at first, but then feature a jump scare when you turn your head. Miko agrees emphatically, relating all too well. Just then, Hana says she can't reach her phone on the top shelf and asks Miko for help. Miko musters her courage and reaches for it. Just as her hand touches the phone, the head opens its mouth and lets out a terrifying goose roar. Miko silently hands the phone to Hana, slams the locker door shut, and slumps to the floor in defeat. That jump scare tactic is seriously going to be the death of her. Back in the classroom, Hana suddenly acts shy. Miko thinks she's hungry again, but Hana confesses that she was so nervous earlier, she thinks she forgot to put on her smelly panties. Miko is just glad she doesn't have to go back to the locker room, so Hana decides to go without them. It's not like it affects her daily life anyway. Miko sighs in relief, glad to have Hana to talk to. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to cope. Just then, as Hana takes a textbook from her desk, Miko watches in horror as an arm extends from another desk and begins groping her friend. Though terrified, Miko can't just ignore it. She stands up, pushes the desk away, and claims she feels unwell and needs to go to the nurse's office. Hana thinks her anemia from the locker room scare has returned. Suddenly, the hand inside the desk contorts and a leg emerges, looking as if it's about to follow them. Miko quickly pulls Hana away, but a glance back reveals the ghost is still clinging to Hana. Seeing it holding Hana so tightly, Miko knows it must be a perverted ghost. Powerless, Miko goes with Hana to the nurse's office, but the nurse isn't there. Hana starts playing with a stethoscope. Miko decides to try using disinfectant spray. After spraying it around, Hana's shirt becomes translucent. Miko notices the ghost's body trembling and wonders if she's found the right method. But as the spirit shudders, it grows another head, which stares lecherously at Hana's chest. Just then, Hana grins mischievously, holding the stethoscope and saying she's going to examine Miko. Miko watches the spirit inch closer to her, thinking it's about to possess her. To free Hana, she closes her eyes and lets Hana do as she pleases. The perverted ghost's face is almost touching hers. Just as Miko is about to scream that her time has come, the school nurse returns and tells them to get back to class. The lecherous ghost then pounces on the nurse, staring at her chest. Apparently, even ghosts have standards. Although she's free from the ghost, Miko can't help but feel like she lost somehow. After school, Miko accompanies Hana to buy donuts from a new shop. There, they see the girl from the other class again. The girl glances at Miko and walks away. Hana urges Miko to get in line. Miko, looking down at her phone while researching prayer beads, walks into the queue. Just then, Hana asks what she's doing. Miko thinks to herself that she's just queuing, but when she looks up, she realizes everyone in front of and behind her is a ghost. She freezes, not daring to move. Hana quickly pulls her into the correct line, telling her to be careful not to get hit by a car while staring at her phone, and that she should be thankful Hana noticed. Miko thinks to herself that a car accident would be the least of her worries. When she looks up, she sees that the line of ghosts was queuing to be devoured by an even larger spirit. At that moment, Miko is truly grateful for Hana's warning. They buy their sweets and head home. On the way, Hana spots an abandoned kitten in a box. Miko smiles. After seeing so many horrible things, seeing a cute creature like this is healing. But as soon as the thought crosses her mind, she sees a filthy spirit in the box as well. Hana picks up the kitten, and the spirit follows. Hana, oblivious, says she wants to keep the kitten. Miko, holding back tears, convinces her to post a message online to find an adopter instead. The ghost continues to follow them. As Hana spins around happily with the kitten, she bumps into a bald man who looks very intimidating. Hana freezes and quickly apologizes, but notices the man is still staring at them. She nervously asks Miko if she's done for. Just as Miko is about to speak, a handsome man appears before them. He says he saw the online post and is interested in adopting the kitten. However, Miko stands up and refuses because in her eyes, the man is surrounded by shrieking cat spirits. After being rejected, the man leaves. The ferocity of the spirits around him is so intense that it even draws away the ghost that was following the kitten. The bald man is still standing there, flexing his bald head. Hana, feeling nervous, asks if they should move. But instead, Miko takes the kitten and hands it to the bald man. He's taken aback for a moment, then holds the kitten and promises to cherish it. For the first time since she started seeing ghosts, Miko sees a soul as pure and white as a mongoose's surrounding someone. She believes this bald man will take good care of the kitten. Ever since she started seeing things others can't, Miko has decided to buy some prayer beads. Since it's her day off, Hana has asked her to go out together. On the bus, Miko takes a seat and scans her surroundings. A student with short hair sits behind the driver. Behind Miko are some young people. Seeing no strange presences, she breathes a sigh of relief. Hana wants to meet at 2 o'clock. As Miko is about to reply, she notices the person behind the driver has suddenly changed seats. She doesn't think much of it and continues texting Hana. Suddenly, she realizes the light in front of her is blocked. Miko looks up in horror. The short-haired girl who was at the front of the bus is now silently standing right in front of her. A shrill female voice repeats the same phrase over and over. "It's incredible and hilarious." Miko looks around. No one else in the back seems to hear it. This means the person in front of her isn't human. Miko miscalculated. She never expected spirits to be able to disguise themselves. As she prepares to ignore it, the head of the person in front of her suddenly contorts and splits into several heads, which surround her and begin to scrutinize her. Miko breaks into a cold sweat. To make matters worse, they're stuck at a red light with only one stop to go. Just as Miko is about to press the stop bell, a ghostly hand blocks it. Miko freezes for a moment before managing to press the button. The driver stops the bus, and the ghost girl gets off, watching Miko from the window. Miko remains motionless as the bus drives on. She sighs in relief, but then a voice from beside her says, "That's hilarious." Miko turns in terror, only to see a girl on the phone who, seeing Miko's near-tears expression, quickly hangs up in embarrassment. After getting off the bus, Miko finds a bubble tea shop to wait for Hana. A man on the phone walks in, followed by a drenched female ghost. He's on the phone, repeatedly telling someone that he loves her. Miko can't help but stare. The man notices her gaze, hangs up the phone, and flashes a confident smile, assuming Miko was looking at him. The female ghost with him becomes furious and starts walking toward Miko. Alarmed, Miko grabs her phone and starts searching. She finds a video and exclaims how handsome the person is. The ghost, thinking Miko is trying to steal her man, leans in to look at Miko's phone, only to see a video of burly men wrestling. At that moment, the winner is using a sleeper hold. The ghost glances at the wrestler, then back at her own pretty boy. Miko continues, gushing over how amazing the winner is. The ghost immediately loses interest. They're clearly not on the same wavelength. Miko breathes a sigh of relief. Just then, Hana arrives. The man tries to strike up a conversation, but Miko completely ignores him. Hana says she wants to get bubble tea too, so Miko waits for her. Soon, the man's date arrives. Miko frowns. This one is no better. She's surrounded surrounded by malevolent male spirits. A true match made in hell for a scumbag and a harlot. Later, Miko and Hana go to a shop. Miko buys 4 sets of prayer beads in one go, while Hana gets a bunny backpack. Hana is a little curious if prayer beads are really the latest trend. Miko nods. Hana hesitates, seemingly considering whether she should buy some too. Miko, remembering that Hana is being haunted, gives her 2 of her own bracelets. Hana is delighted and decides to buy Miko snacks as a thank you gift. But to get to that shop, they have to go through a small alley. Miko peeks inside and is shocked. The alley is more crowded than a rush-hour subway. She tries to stop Hana, but as Hana steps in, the spirits all move out of her way. Miko is overjoyed, believing that the prayer beads are working. She follows Hana in. Hana walks ahead without incident, but Miko runs into a massive ghost. She thinks the beads will protect her, but as soon as the spirit speaks, the beads explode. The spirit that could shatter her beads is now right in front of her. If she takes a detour, it will know she can see it. Just then, Hana notices she's stopped and turns to grab her. Not wanting to endanger her friend, Miko grits her teeth and walks straight through the ghost's body. Hana sees that the prayer beads she just got are broken and complains indignantly that they must have bought a defective product, wanting to take Miko to get a refund. Miko quickly stops her. At that moment, Hana notices her bunny backpack charm has fallen off. Miko quickly stops her and goes to pick it up herself, sticking her head right into the ghost's body to retrieve it. Hana sees her pick up the backpack, her face pale and her eyes filled with tears, and assumes Miko is just upset about the faulty beads. She's about to storm off to demand a refund, but Miko manages to hold her back. In the end, they go buy daifuku instead. Hana offers to give the beads back to Miko, but Miko refuses, saying she can't take back something she's already given as a gift. After finishing her daifuku, Hana decides to help Miko buy a better set of prayer beads. Meanwhile, in the shopping district, student Yulia from the next class spots a fortune teller. She hesitates, deciding to approach her next time. At that moment, the fortune teller shoos away a client. Miko and Hana then approach her shop. Hana explains she wants to pick out a quality, unbreakable set of prayer beads for Miko. The fortune teller, seeing they are students with little money, is about to give them a cheap set, but the moment Miko puts it on, it shatters. After the beads on Miko's wrist explode, the fortune teller realizes there's something nasty behind Miko. Miko is also troubled because the ghost from the alley has been following her, and she can see it with terrifying clarity. The fortune teller asks if she's seen anything strange lately. Miko consistently replies that she hasn't. The fortune teller knows she can see, but is deliberately pretending not to, which earns Miko some respect. At the same time, the fortune teller notices that Hana is brimming with life force, a trait that easily attracts spirits. However, as the #1 exorcist in the area, the fortune teller isn't about to let Miko be tormented by a spirit. She takes out her most prized possession, a glittering set of prayer beads, and gives them to Miko, saying they contain the full extent of her power from her prime. Thanks to Miko, the fortune teller is ready to come out of retirement, but the spirit just screams that it tickles, and in the next second, the beads explode, the force of it hitting the fortune teller in the face. Miko gives up on finding prayer beads, but then she notices that the ghost that was following her has disappeared. After this battle, the fortune teller knows her limits and closes her shop. One day, Miko wakes up from a nightmare, panting. Her brother looks at her curiously, asking why she was yelling no, and if she was having a lewd and wet dream. Miko swings a pillow at him, and her brother bolts. After school, Miko and Hana go to a convenience store. A pudding brand has a limited time offer. Miko grabs one, and Hana follows suit. Hana then remembers there's something else she wanted to buy, and tells Miko to go check out first. When Miko gets to the counter, she sees 2 cashiers standing there. She is naturally drawn to the one that's a ghost. Realizing this, Miko remains calm, shifts her gaze to the Odin sign behind them, and nonchalantly orders a fish cake skewer, which she later gives to Hana. Back home, their mother tells them to rest early. A paranormal show is on TV. Miko glances at it. They're showing a supposed ghost photo with a ghostly face appearing in a tent. Her brother thinks it's obviously fake. The show cuts to a commercial. The moment Miko sees the ad, she announces she's going out to buy a drink. Her brother finds this sudden, but doesn't think much of it. At the vending machine, Miko hesitates and fumbles her coin, dropping it. As she bends down to pick it up, her eyes meet those of a tiny ghost below. The creature stands up in terror and flees. Miko has heard of these ghosts, the famous small old man from the internet. Perhaps because she's seen so many large ghosts recently, she finds this tiny tiny one, almost cute. Pretending she lost her coin, Miko follows it into an alley, only to learn the true meaning of curiosity killed the cat. The small old man transforms into a giant monster. Stared down by the massive spirit, Miko is on the verge of tears and can only pretend to be looking for her money. Just as she's about to pick up the coin, the monster slams its hand down next to her and Miko freezes. As her trembling hand reaches for the coin, the monster lets out a blast of foul breath that nearly knocks her out. She's afraid that if she turns and runs, it will immediately chase her, but she can't hold her breath much longer. Just then, a crow flies by and snatches the coin. Miko snaps back to reality and immediately chases after it. She returns home empty-handed. Her brother is puzzled, asking if she didn't buy anything. Miko explains that a crow took her money, but it's okay because it was a life-saving crow. Her brother is left confused. The next day after school, Miko parts ways with Hana. She feels a constant gaze on her, but sees nothing when she looks back. Indeed, the one following Miko is her brother. It all started that morning. The brother noticed his sister has been acting strange lately, sighing constantly and yelling no in her sleep. A little girl nearby suggested she might have a boyfriend. The brother was shocked to hear that. He wondered if last night's crow could have been a code for a boyfriend. The more he thinks about it, the angrier he gets, and he starts tailing his sister. The thought of his sister being led astray by some scumbag makes him grit his teeth, vowing to protect her. Miko is browsing a book about paranormal events. After discovering that ghosts are everywhere, she's starting to get used to it. As she leaves, her brother rushes over. However, due to his height, he misreads the book's title as 100 Ways to Please Your Partner. He opens it to a page that says, "A hickey is the best way to confirm love." At that moment, it seems her brother has grown up. That evening, Miko is taking a bath. Her brother is lurking suspiciously outside the door. Miko is thinking about the bookstore she visited that day. A ghost in a bookshelf had startled her, and she almost gave herself away. Miko worries that if these ghosts appear when her guard is down, she'll be so scared she'll blow her cover. At that moment, she sees a female ghost appear in the fish tank. Miko sits up abruptly, only to realize it was a dream. Before she can feel relieved, she sees another ghost squatting in the corner of the bathroom. Feeling she's at her breaking point, Miko gets up to leave the bathroom, but the creature stands up as well. As it's about to turn its head, Miko's eyes widen, feeling she's reached her limit. Just then, her brother pushes the door open, using the excuse of wanting to bathe with her, though he really just wants to check for hickeys. As Miko is about to get out of the tub, her brother shyly looks away and says never mind. Miko immediately calls him over to scrub her back. Thanks to her brother, Miko gets through the night. The next morning, Miko pulls open the curtains. The ghost in the trash can below is still there. She knows she'll be seeing strange things again today. Miko decides to lift her spirits by eating the pudding from the fridge. But when she gets downstairs, she sees her family sitting at the dining table with a giant ghost looming behind her father. Her mother asks if the pudding in the fridge is hers. Miko nods. Her brother tells her to remember to label it, otherwise she can't blame anyone if it gets eaten. Her father sighs helplessly, saying that was from last year. Just then, the ghost licks Miko's breakfast. There's no way she can eat it now. She says she has no appetite and is heading out. After her brother leaves, the ghost follows her parents, watching him go. Miko pauses before leaving. She walks into the kitchen, takes the pudding from the fridge, and places it in front of her father's shrine. It turns out her father had already passed away, and what she'd been seeing was his spirit. Her father's spirit tells her that he had accidentally eaten her pudding last year and had always wanted to apologize but never got the chance. As for the ghost photo, there really was a spirit in the picture, but it wasn't in the tent. It was right next to it. And in the commercial, the celebrity was being grabbed all over by ghostly hands. So it's no wonder Miko couldn't stand to watch and wanted to get a drink. The scene shifts to Yulia, who has been able to see what ordinary people can't since she was a child. Although she claims not to be afraid of them, she is actually terrified. Still, Yulia is quite hopeful about her abilities. Although she can see ghosts, her vision isn't very clear. Some time ago, Yulia learned that the fortune teller at the local shop was the legendary exorcist. She pestered the woman to teach her, but the fortune teller had no interest and simply gave her a string of prayer beads to dismiss her. Yulia mistook this as a sign of being accepted as an apprentice and had already started planning her future, learning fortune-telling and becoming a revered figure. However, this dream shattered when she found the fortune teller's shop closed. Yulia was stunned, wondering where her great master went. The old man from the neighboring shop said that before she left, the fortune teller muttered something about recognizing the limits of her power. Yulia was shocked, since the strongest person she knew was the fortune teller. The old man shook his head, saying he didn't know the details, only that the fortune teller had met 2 high school girls before she left, and that the 2 girls approaching were the ones. Yulia quickly hid. She recognized them as the close-knit pair from the next class, Miko and Hana. She had been watching them for a while, quite envious of their friendship. Hana, seeing the shop closed, couldn't help but complain that it was no wonder the shop's prayer beads were such poor quality. It was bound to go out of business. Yulia was shocked. She knew the fortune teller's true power. Hana said she was going to buy sweets. Yulia saw her about to walk right into a ghost. Just then, Miko suddenly shouted that there was a cockroach. Hana jumped in fright, perfectly avoiding the spirit. Yulia was stunned, wondering if Miko could see them too. A few days later, the 2 classes have a joint PE lesson. Yulia stops Miko and asks for her help organizing equipment. Once they are in the equipment room, Yulia closes the door and tells Miko that she is one of them. Just then, Miko turns and sees a ghost appear behind her. Yulia asks if she can see it. It turns out she had been observing Miko for days, noticing that Miko could clearly see the ghosts but managed to act completely oblivious. Faced with Yulia's questioning, Miko pretends not to understand what she's talking about. Yulia, however, misunderstands, thinking Miko has had the same experience as her. She had once told her classmates she could see ghosts, only to be accused of making it up for attention. Yulia says she understands that feeling and that Miko doesn't have to hide it. Miko plays dumb. Yulia points to the ghost on the floor, insisting Miko can definitely see it. Miko quickly feigns surprise, asking if there's a cockroach. She uses this as an excuse to slip behind Yulia, trying to lead her out of the storeroom. But Yulia doesn't fall for it, walking over to a ball cart and insisting Miko look at the small old man on the floor. Miko can indeed see it, but besides the small ghost, she also sees an arm sticking out of a pile of mats. A massive, malevolent spirit crawls out from the mats. Hearing the 2 of them talk about who can see what, it decides to stay put. It's then that Miko realizes Yulia can only see the harmless little ghosts. She's completely blind to resentful, powerful spirits like this one. Seeing Miko's silence, Yulia thinks Miko is looking down on her. She immediately pulls out the fortune teller's prayer beads to show off her power, but the beads explode after just one glance from the large spirit. Yulia stumbles back in terror. The ghost is now getting agitated. Miko remembers the wrestler she saw before. To prevent Yulia from saying anything else that might provoke the spirit, Miko puts her in a sleeper hold, accusing her of lying and saying she needs to be punished. Yulia passes out. She later wakes up in the nurse's office. Seeing Miko, she looks aggrieved. Miko, initially thinking she could talk to Yulia since she could also see ghosts, remembers that Yulia can't see the more dangerous ones. Worried she might get hurt, Miko patiently advises her that she was lucky to be saved this time, but it might not be the same next time, and that it would be best for her to pretend she can't see anything from now on. After saying this, Miko turns to leave, but to Yulia, these words sound like a threat. Yulia feels discriminated against, not knowing that Miko was actually just thinking she might finally have a friend to talk about ghosts with. Just then, Hana rushes in, asking Miko if she really choked out a student. Rumors really do spread fast. That evening after school, Miko is crossing a footbridge when she sees a white-haired spirit sitting there. Miko intends to walk past as if nothing is wrong, but the spirit suddenly grabs her hand. She's so scared she's about to cry, but when she looks down, she realizes it's just an old woman with no teeth. Miko has seen so many things lately that she's starting to have trouble telling people from ghosts. So, Miko helps the old woman home. The woman's daughter arrives with her dentures. The daughter sighs, explaining that when her father was alive, her mother was a strong person, but now she can't even remember her own family. To thank Miko, the daughter rushes inside to get something. Miko and the old woman wait outside. Miko wants to send a text to her family, but she sees a ghost standing beside her, muttering the number 4631. Miko is about to turn and run, but the old woman holds her hand and asks if her phone is a smartphone. The ghost then walks over to Miko and repeats 4631 in her ear. It then leans close to the old woman, whispering the same number. Miko takes back her phone and gives it to the old woman, who seems to understand. The The daughter comes out with some sweets, and they both watch as the old woman walks straight to a safe in the house. The daughter sighs. Her mother had tried to open it many times without success. But just as she says this, her mother successfully opens the safe. The daughter is astonished. Inside is a comb her father gave her mother, along with several love letters from when they were dating. The old woman picks up the comb, skillfully puts her hair up, and her eyes seem to regain their clarity. She says she's going to cook a meal. The ghost passes by Miko again and whispers its thanks to her. The old woman invites Miko to stay for dinner. Miko thinks for a moment and shakes her head, saying her family would be worried. The deceased husband's spirit, though gone, had never forgotten the password to the safe that held the memories of his beloved. 2 days later, near a dessert shop, Miko sees the ghost of the old woman's husband being devoured by another spirit. Hana is admiring the latest desserts in the shop, taking her time to decide. Miko can't bring herself to look at the cake. After leaving the shop, Miko had planned to go to another store, but seeing what's ahead, she stops and decides to go somewhere else. It's not that she wants to change plans, but a ghost is blocking the path. Although they turn and leave, this ghost has clearly taken an interest in them. That night, Miko has a dream, realizing that the thing she saw that afternoon was more terrifying than anything before. Meanwhile, Hana wakes up to find her alarm clock stopped in the middle of the night again. She doesn't care, goes downstairs for breakfast, and happily devours a giant pancake, with her mother worrying she won't have enough to eat. Hana gets dressed and heads out to meet Miko. As she reaches the doorway, she sees the lights flickering. She remembers the bulb was just changed, but she doesn't dwell on it and happily leaves for her appointment. The usually friendly neighbor's dog barks ferociously at her. Hana is completely unaware that, in the dog's eyes, a deeply ominous spirit is following her. It's the very same one Miko saw yesterday afternoon. This thing has latched onto the vibrant, life-filled Hana and is using her life energy like a grill, catching nearby smaller ghosts and roasting them for a meal. When Hana's life energy is drained, she gets hungry, but eating something replenishes it right away. She thought she'd be on time today, but halfway there, she sees a child whose dog has gone missing, having run into a legendary abandoned, cursed building. Hana hesitates, but seeing the crying little boy, she grits her teeth and enters the building. She's terrified, worried a monster will appear at any second, unaware that the most terrifying monster is right behind her. Hana's presence attracts many small ghosts, so the large ghost behind her grabs them as ingredients and cooks them on the spot. To avoid scaring the dog, Hana sings as she searches. The ghost follows behind, roasting its finds. Hana sees movement ahead as more and more spirits appear. A plastic bag rustles. Hana holds back her fear, lifts the bag, and finds the dog. She carries the big dog out of the building, but the dog is too scared to even look at her. After rescuing the dog, Hana is drenched in sweat and wets herself. She hurries to meet Miko. Miko sees the super-evolved spirit behind her and is shocked, asking what on earth Hana has been doing. Hana explains she was in the cursed building looking for a dog. Miko is at a loss. In this situation, there's no way they can go see a movie. She quickly takes Hana to a nearby shrine. Miko recognizes this super-evolved spirit as the one from yesterday. She doesn't know why it's attached to Hana, but if it keeps evolving like this, it could be very dangerous for her. So Miko decides to try and resolve the issue at the shrine before things get worse. When she prays, the coin she throws is rejected. Miko, however, is determined. She picks it up and throws it in again, praying for someone to save Hana. She says she'll do anything to save Hana, and it would be great if they could save her too. After praying, she looks back and sees two new figures have appeared beside the spirit. While Hana wanders around, Miko studies the scene, wondering if the two smaller figures are the spirit's companions. But then she sees one of them clap its hands, and the spirit's arm is instantly severed, flying right next to Miko. Just then, Hana asks her what kind of movie she likes. Miko, watching the two entities battle the large spirit, thinks to herself that no movie could be as exciting as this. Just as the two small foxes are about to defeat the spirit, Miko realizes they might be the shrine's gods. She's mentally cheering them on when she sees the large spirit tear the two foxes to shreds and eat them. As dusk falls, Hana looks at the torii gate and exclaims how beautiful it is, wanting to take a picture for social media. Miko, however, can only see the spirit's rampant visage. Hana pulls Miko over for a photo. As she's finding the right angle, Miko sees something even larger appear behind the spirit. This new entity crushes the spirit's head with one hand. At the same time, Hana finds the perfect angle and snaps a photo, clearly capturing the big fish eats smaller fish scene. Miko's face turns pale. How did she not realize Hana was such a talented ghost photographer? Just then, the two Eaten Fox girls revive. The three gods seem to be communicating. Miko is in shock. She hears the one that ate the ghost speak. It looks at Miko and says 3 times, then disappears from the shrine. Miko has no idea what just happened, but Hana has already posted the photo online. The scene shifts to Yulia, feeling humiliated after the incident in the equipment room, determined not to admit defeat. She had to show Miko her true power. Meanwhile, Hana tells Miko that the photo they took at the shrine has been getting tons of likes and comments online. Miko turns pale by the two battling ghosts above their heads in the picture. Hana, however, thinks she has a real talent for photography. She's even bought a Polaroid camera, determined to travel around and take beautiful pictures. Miko, recalling Hana's tendency to attract ghosts, realizes Hana isn't taking photos. She's compiling a ghosts appreciation album. Just as Miko is about to persuade Hana to drop the idea, Hana snaps a picture of her. Miko looks at the photo and sees a dark shadow flashing behind her. Hana is still lost in admiration of her own skills. Yulia sees the picture and is amazed at Hana's talent for capturing a haunting effect. Hana recognizes the person in the background as the girl Miko had in a chokehold. Yulia mentions she knows some places with incredible scenery. Hana gets excited immediately and asks where. Yulia seizes the opportunity, suggesting that if Hana doesn't mind, she could take them there next week. After all, it would be a shame to waste a talent like Hana's. Touched, Hana hugs Yulia. Miko has missed her chance to talk her out of it, but Yulia's real goal is to use Hana to test Miko's power. 2 days later, on the weekend, Yulia leads them to a tunnel in the mountains as promised. According to Yulia, passing through this tunnel will lead them to a place with beautiful scenery. Yulia smiles to herself. In reality, this tunnel is a famous gathering spot for spirits. Most people avoid this place, but Yulia, wanting to test Miko's strength, insists on coming, completely ignoring the possibility that if Miko fails, all 3 of them could end up dead. Yulia charges ahead, and the other 2 have no choice but to follow. A drop of water makes Hana scream in fear. Yulia turns to look at her. Just then, Miko feels a pebble in her shoe. She bends down, takes it out, and tosses it behind her. Yulia turns back just in time to see this. She then watches as Miko seems to levitate off the ground and clap her hands. In reality, Miko had simply lost her footing, but to Yulia's eyes, it looked like Miko had instantly erected a protective barrier. When Miko gets up, she thinks Yulia is worried about her and explains that it was nothing to worry about. Yulia is stunned that Miko could create a barrier in an instant and call it nothing. Yulia believes Miko is deliberately showing off her power. Just then, Miko feels the touch of spirits from behind. Yulia sees these phantoms too. Miko quickly tries to convince the already frightened Hana to leave, but Yulia stops Hana, encouraging her not to give up on her powerful talent just because of a little fear. She claims a whole new world awaits them beyond the tunnel. Miko looks at the horde of ghosts behind Yulia. This isn't a new world, it's a portrait of hell, but Hana is encouraged and musters her courage. Yulia then suggests that since they've overcome their fear, they should take a picture right there, and so Miko becomes the model, forced to pose in the tunnel. Hana tells her to strike a photogenic pose. Miko looks to her left and sees a man with half his head rotted away. She looks to her right and sees another ghost of equal ugliness. Behind her stands a woman with a dangling head. Miko can only stare at the floor. Surprisingly, Hana thinks the pose is great and snaps a picture. The effect is perfect. Yulia is stunned when she sees the photo and many ghosts around Miko. Miko, knowing her friend's uncanny ability, starts to feel uneasy. Looking back, the tunnel is now completely clogged with ghosts. Miko feels they need to leave before things get out of hand. But, as fate would have it, she hears the sound of dragging chains from behind. She turns her head to see a female ghost, her body contorted and embedded in a paint can, appear behind them. Hana decides to charge forward fearlessly. Miko raises a hand to stop her, but sees the female ghost extend a chain and drag away a nearby spirit. Miko's outstretched hand trembles slightly before she clenches it into a fist. Yulia, who can't see the large spirit, only sees Miko reach out and clench her fist, followed by a spirit exploding. She's horrified to see this legendary art of exorcism. Miko, however, thinks Yulia can see it too and gives her a look, trying to signal her to run. Yulia misinterprets this as a showtime. Not wanting to be outdone, Yulia starts posturing at a smaller ghost she can see. Miko realizes Yulia has no idea what's really happening and decides to scare Hana using a spider. But as soon as she says there's a spider behind them, the female ghost goes on a rampage, devouring every ghost in the tunnel and completing a super evolution. Yulia is shocked to find Miko's single-word spider could wipe out so many ghosts, while she couldn't even handle a single small one. The female ghost then spots a straggler and crushes it on the spot. Yulia, thinking she was the one who exorcised it, grins foolishly at her hand, repeatedly asking Miko if she saw it. The female ghost rushes up behind her. Miko instinctively pulls Yulia aside. Yulia is still asking if Miko saw her exorcise the ghost. Hearing this, the female ghost knows Miko can see spirits and immediately opens its mouth to attack the three of them. Miko pulls Yulia into her arms, realizing she's stuck with a terrible teammate. Just as the ghost's attack is about to land, the twin fox spirits from the shrine appear. They block the attack, knocking the ghost out of her super-evolved state. Outmatched, the ghost turns and flees for its shitty life. Miko breathes a sigh of relief, glad that Hana has given up on charging further in. The fox spirit twins make a gesture to Miko, signaling one time. Finally, the three of them are on the bus home. Hana is a little disappointed they didn't get through, Miko is still thinking about the fox spirits, and Yulia has finally understood the power gap between her and Miko. Seeing them both looking downcast, Hana takes a group photo and sends a copy to each of them. This is the first time Yulia has ever made friends. The three end up at a dessert shop. Yulia is still pondering why there were so many spirits in the tunnel when she sees Hana's life force explode after eating some food, incinerating a tiny ghost. Miko then passes Yulia a rainbow star cookie. Yulia is startled, wondering if Miko is hinting that if Yulia lets anything slip, she'll get a taste of Miko's power. A few days later, Miko and her brother go to a department store to pick out a gift for their mother. A sales clerk suggests Miko try on a dress. Her brother, thinking Miko and their mother are about the same height, encourages her to try it on while he waits outside. Little does he know, the real danger is inside the dressing room. Miko has just finished changing when she sees a ghostly sales clerk appear behind her. This ghost is quite dedicated, immediately complimenting how good the dress looks on Miko. If her brother hadn't gotten impatient and pulled back the curtain, Miko would have probably had a breakdown on the spot. Her brother quickly praises how good Miko looks in the dress. Miko says she's not changing again and goes straight to pay, mainly because she doesn't have the courage to go back in. Afterward, Miko and her brother go to another shop to buy a gift. On the subway, her brother falls fast asleep. Miko then sees something terrifying appear from the next car. This creature is carrying an axe and a burlap sack, and it starts hacking its way down the row of seats where Miko is sitting. It seems to be looking for something, but Miko doesn't care. She just wants to know how to escape. She nudges her brother just as she sees a person across from them get up to leave. The ghost immediately chases after them, hacking wildly. Miko freezes, forced to watch as the ghost returns to its spot and continues its rampage. However, the people who are hacked seem to be fine. Miko thinks she can endure it. Then she notices the passenger next to her is spewing black smoke. The axe-wielding ghost strikes and actually pulls another smaller ghost out of the person's body. Miko is dumbfounded but doesn't dare reveal that she can see. The ghost's axe is raised high. Miko's mind flashes back to every ghost she's ever encountered, like her life is flashing before her eyes. The subway is approaching a station. Miko watches with wide eyes as the axe seems to pull something out of her own body. Then other passengers get on, and the axe-wielding ghost follows them. When her brother wakes up, he finds Miko standing by the door, having gotten off before their stop. Miko says she needs to buy some underwear. Her brother misunderstands, thinking she's on her period, and sighs about how tough it is to be a girl, completely unaware of what Miko just went through. A few days later, Miko and Hana are helping their pregnant teacher carry some documents. The teacher is going on maternity leave starting tomorrow. Miko is surprised to see a white spirit floating near the teacher. She hesitates, unsure if she should say anything, but then she sees the spirit attach itself to the teacher's belly. Miko struggles with herself for a moment before finally calling out to the teacher, reminding her to be careful lately, especially when walking or going downstairs. The teacher is silent for a moment, then tells them that this time, everything will be fine. Hana is confused. The teacher then explains that this is actually her second pregnancy. Her first, a boy, didn't make it, so this time, she will love this child with all the love she had for its older brother. It's then that Miko sees the white spirit extend a tiny hand, seemingly grasping its mother's finger. Miko nods. She believes that this time, everything will be okay. After saying goodbye to Hana, Miko walks home, ignoring the ghost on the telephone pole. She starts to wonder what these things she sees really are and how she should deal with them. Just as she's thinking this, Miko spots a grotesque spirit in front of a vending machine. She had intended to face it head-on, but seeing its twisted appearance, Miko knows it's impossible. This thing is just too vile. She pretends to buy a drink and manages to get away from the spirit. The next day, Hana mentions seeing a moth on the vending machine. Although she wanted a drink, her disgust was too strong, so she went to a convenience store instead. Miko nods. It really is better to pretend not to see. Just then, the new teacher enters the classroom. Miko's eyes widen in horror. The man, who introduces himself as Tono, is the same person who wanted to adopt the cat a while back. The one Miko refused because he was surrounded by cat spirits. And today, the number of cat spirits around him has multiplied. As for the bald man who adopted the cat, he's currently agonizing over which brand of canned food is best. After making his choice, he buys a slice of cake, feeds the cat, and then uses the cake as an offering to his late wife. What a tough guy with a tender heart. After Tono's self-introduction, Miko just wants to scream, but her friend Hana is only thinking about food and has no memory of ever seeing the teacher before. The other girls in the class are captivated by his good looks. Only Miko knows that Mr. Tono is surrounded by evil spirits. At lunch, Miko and Hana go to buy food. Strangely, Hana has been hungry all day, even after eating a pineapple bun during the morning meeting. She's like a woman possessed. Hana then asks Miko if they've met the new teacher before. Worried about getting Hana involved, Miko quickly shakes her head, saying she doesn't know him, has never seen him, and has no connection to him. Luckily, Tono doesn't seem to recognize them either. Just then, Hana realizes she forgot to buy her after-lunch snack. She tells Miko to go on ahead while she runs to the school store. Miko, worried Hana might remember something, looks for a distraction. She pulls out her phone and sees an event ad, but then spots Tono walking towards them. Already suspecting him of animal abuse, Miko then sees a giant handprint appear on the window. She panics and hides in the girls' restroom. The thought of being in the same classroom with him every day makes Miko worry she'll lose her composure. She hears footsteps outside the door. Fearing Tono has followed her, she quickly hides in a stall, but it's just two of her classmates. Miko breathes a sigh of relief, but when she looks up, she sees a head growing out of the toilet. Miko lets out an involuntary yelp, and the head instantly lunges at her. Panicked and not wanting to be touched by the filthy thing, she glances at the toilet paper dispenser and pretends her scream was because there was no paper. Miko calmly leaves the stall and goes to the next one. The ghost follows. In the next stall, Miko finds Yulia eating her lunch. Later, the three of them meet on a bench downstairs. Miko, knowing Yulia can't see the big spirits, advises her not to eat in the restroom anymore. Hana invites Yulia to eat with them, which makes Yulia secretly happy. Miko senses Tono approaching. Worried he might bring trouble to those around her, Miko tries to think of a way to get away from him. Suddenly, a massive female ghost appears by Miko's ear, ordering her not to look. Miko's eyes widen in terror. After the ghost disappears, tears stream down her face. After school, Miko takes Hana and Yulia to a haunted house event where they can get 20 free donuts just for getting a stamp. Hana, though scared, really wants the donuts. Yulia waves her hand dismissively, saying she's brave enough to go. Miko isn't thinking much about it, just figuring that visiting a few haunted houses might help her practice her pretending not to see skills. The three enter the haunted house. The dim lighting and realistic sets are wasted on Miko and Yulia, who are used to seeing real ghosts. Only Hana is screaming her head off. Yulia is confident. She's been through a lot. But she didn't expect this to be not Japanese-style horror, but American-style physical horror. The three of them are chased through the attraction. Miko feels that this kind of horror is different from what she usually sees. Hana gets spooked by a spider prop. Miko comforts her, saying that since she's already been to the cursed building, a haunted house like this should be nothing. Hana argues that the building was just an abandoned ruin, which is completely different. Yulia is shocked because they both went to the cursed building that even a no-power person wouldn't dare approach. Yulia mistakenly assumes Miko and Hana cleared out all the spirits from the cursed building. The three continue on. A chainsaw-wielding actor appears behind Hana. Miko remains expressionless as Hana and Yulia drag her along. As more and more haunted house actors appear, Miko realizes everyone around her is screaming. Yulia is being choked and can't scream, so that means Miko can scream along with them too. She starts to scream, but her joy at finally being able to let it out overpowers her fear. And Yulia is horrified to see that Miko is actually laughing hysterically. They reach the stamp station. As Hana is about to get her stamp, Miko hears someone call her name from behind. Caught up in the fun, Miko almost responds. Luckily, Hana gets her stamp and calls out to her. Miko then realizes it was a real ghost. Her strange behavior has attracted the spirit's attention. Miko pretends not to see it and turns to leave with the others, but the spirit follows. Just then, Hana looks back in terror. All the actors who were chasing them are now gathered together. The three of them make a run for it. Miko sees that the real ghost is there too, pursuing them relentlessly. Miko thinks to herself that since they're in a haunted house and she's been holding it in for so long, this is the perfect opportunity. She stops, turns around, and yells directly at the spirit not to come near her. The spirit freezes. Seeing that all the actors have stopped, Hana quickly pulls Miko, telling her that they won't listen. But Miko has finally said the words, and she feels a great sense of relief. The spirit actually stops chasing them. The three of them successfully complete the course and get their 20 donuts. Miko feels that being able to vent like this is amazing. She thinks Yulia would surely understand, but Yulia just finds the whole experience exhausting and never wants to go back. A neighbor brings Mr. Tono some food she made. He accepts it but doesn't open the door fully. The neighbor mentions that there have been more crows lately. The trash is a mess and there are fewer cats around. Yesterday, another cat was found tortured in the park. Mr. Tono takes the beef and potatoes. The neighbor notices blood on his hand. He explains it's just a scratch. However, as soon as he's inside, he throws the food away and washes the blood off his hands, which have no wounds at all. During PE class, Hana tells Miko she's been constantly hungry lately and wonders if eating so much is bad. Miko says she likes Hana just the way she is. Miko has been very stressed lately. She tried to relieve it by running, but as soon as she started sprinting, a ghost whizzed past her. Miko suddenly feels that sometimes just accepting things is also a way to cope. In class that afternoon, students are reading from their textbook, but Miko can't even lift her head. It's not for any normal reason. The female ghost who warned her yesterday is right beside her. Not only that, but the ghost is going up to each student, demanding they stop staring at Mr. Tono. Unfortunately, only Miko can see this. Another student is chatting with friends, saying Mr. Tono can't remember any of the students' names, completely unaware that the extremely possessive female ghost is right in front of him, repeating for her not to look. Miko knows that as long as she doesn't stare at Mr. Tono, the ghost won't target her. Besides the female ghost, the number of cat spirits around Mr. Tono has also increased. Miko then sees the female ghost enter Mr. Tono's body. This reminds her of the axe-wielding man on the subway who pulled a ghost out of someone's body. As Miko's mind wanders, Mr. Tono suddenly leans in close and calls on her to read from the textbook. Miko trembles. To her right is the suspected cat abuser, and to her left is the ghost inside him. Her eyes widen and she's on the verge of tears, her hands shaking as she holds the book. Mr. Tono seems to notice something. As he leans closer to Miko, the female ghost's face also gets closer. Miko is about to break when she hears a loud growl. Hana clutches her stomach and raises her hand, saying she's so hungry she feels faint and needs to go to the nurse's office. The class laughs and teases her. At this moment, Hana is Miko's savior. Miko takes the opportunity to put an arm around Hana, saying she'll take her to the nurse's office. Mr. Tono stands in the classroom watching them leave. Hana is feeling a little embarrassed when she hears Miko's sudden confession of gratitude. For a second, Hana thinks she's about to die. On their way to the nurse's office, they are spotted by Yulia from the next class. After class, Yulia visits them in the nurse's office. Hana says she's starving. Yulia pulls out 3 cups of candy for her. Hana devours them in the blink of an eye. Yulia then notices that Hana's body is now surrounded by an extra layer of life force. Speaking of Mr. Tono, Yulia blurts out that with so many things attached to him, even Hana's strong life force will be drained. Miko is shocked to hear this. Yulia then realizes Hana doesn't know anything and quickly tries to backtrack, thinking Miko didn't want Hana to know. In reality, Miko had no idea about this connection. She suspected Yulia couldn't see the big spirits, but she never imagined Hana's life force was being consumed. This means Hana's recent hunger is because her life energy is being drained by the surrounding ghosts. Miko decides she needs to talk to Yulia alone. Yulia, remembering being choked out, lets out a scream and flees on the spot. After school, Miko accompanies Hana to buy food at the park. They find a spot to eat. Looking around the park, many people have spirits with them. Miko is torn. This is the first time she's learned that Hana's life force being consumed is what makes her hungry. It means that even before Miko could see ghosts, Hana was already being haunted. Miko had thought that as long as she pretended not to see, she could keep everything under control. But if this continues, Hana's condition will only get worse. Hana finishes waving goodbye to a child and notices Miko is in a bad mood. Miko quickly composes herself. A little boy across the way waves at her, so she waves back. Suddenly, the boy's balloon pops, and he transforms from a normal child into a horrifying spirit. In that moment, Miko remembers the terror of being deceived by a disguised ghost. The spirit, realizing Miko can see it, immediately charges at her. Just then, the two fox spirits appear again. They drive the spirit back, but it fights back, stomping on one of the fox spirits until it disappears. The other fox spirit then blows its head off before holding out a hand to Miko, signaling that this was the second time. Miko remembers the shrine ghost mentioning 3 times. She now understands they will help her 3 times, and she only has 1 chance left. Just then, Hana's stomach growls again from the excitement. Miko, however, is plunged into fear. Late at night, 2 girls are walking home when they encounter a strange man in a hoodie. They can't help but stare. The man enters an alley, sees a passing kitten, and pulls out a trap lined with iron spikes. But before he can act, both girls charge in. Because of their sharp hearing, girls heard the cat meow and managed to save it just in time. The scene shifts to the time when Tono was young. His father betrayed his mother, causing her to become mentally unstable. Even when Tono got near-perfect scores on his exams, he wasn't allowed to celebrate his birthday with friends. His mother's twisted, controlling nature was something Tono couldn't escape. In a fit of rage, he saw a stray cat in the park. The cheers of students bring Tono back from his childhood memories. Miko, watching the constantly eating Hana, finally makes a decision. She's going to deal with the teacher. After school, she politely declines Hana's invitation. Mr. Tono also happens to be leaving work early. Miko follows him, noticing that the number of cat spirits at his feet has increased. Although she's terrified of this suspected animal abuser, she follows him for the sake of Hana's safety, determined to find evidence. However, whenever she gets close, the ghost possessing Mr. Tono looks around. Miko worries that getting too close will trigger the fox spirit's third and final act of help. While the fox spirits have protected her so far, it's hard to say what will happen after the third transaction is complete. That's why Miko has been following him from a distance, ready to snap a photo and report him to the police at the first sign of suspicious behavior. Fortunately, Mr. Tono's aura of resentment is strong, leaving a trail wherever he goes. Miko just needs to follow the trail, keeping a safe distance. After a while, Miko realizes Mr. Tono is only going into small alleys. She sees he turn a corner under a footbridge. Miko musters her courage and peeks around, only to see him standing in front of a cat. Miko was about to dial the police, but seeing Mr. Tono about to harm the kitten, she can't stop herself from rushing out and yelling for him to stop. Tono and the cat both freeze. He then remembers her. Miko is the girl who refused to give him the cat in the park. As he says this, the female ghost behind him appears. Miko instinctively backs away and the kitten runs to her. Mr. Tono asks if Miko is stalking him and demands she hand over the cat. Miko clutches the cat and runs. She just can't stand by and do nothing. However, she's running so fast that she slips and falls. Fortunately, the kitten is unharmed. Just then, Mr. Tono catches up to her, demanding to know why she won't give him the cat. He asks if she is the real animal abuser. Before he can finish, the spirit behind him appears, frightening the kitten, which struggles and runs into the road. A car is speeding towards it. Mr. Tono moves faster than Miko, rushing out to protect the kitten and getting hit by the car himself. It turns out that when Tono was a child, he found a small black kitten. Because the kitten was affectionate and wouldn't leave him, Tono secretly took it in, hiding it from his mother. He took good care of it, always hiding it before his mother came home. But his mother grew suspicious. One day, Tono came home to find the kitten gone, with only a bloodstain left on the carpet. His mother warned him that he was not allowed to have anything else in his life. He had to do whatever she said. Miko, unaware of this, is confused as to why Mr. Tono would risk his life for a cat. The kitten is now staying at her house. Miko apologizes, admitting she thought he was going to abuse it. Coincidentally, Mr. Tono explains that a cat abuser has been active in his neighborhood lately. He was leaving work early to patrol the alleys to catch the culprit. After being followed by Miko Miko, he mistakenly thought she was the one. It was all a misunderstanding. Tono also mentions that Miko has been acting strangely at school. Miko wants to object, but knows he's telling the truth. Tono sighs, saying he's found many abused and dying kittens recently, but couldn't save them. Miko finally understands where the cat spirits around him came from. He tells Miko that if she plans to put the kitten up for adoption, people online aren't always reliable, but he has a friend who can help. Speak of the devil, his friend arrives at that moment. His name is Gozaburo, and he's a veterinarian. He and Tono have been friends since childhood. This is the first time Gozaburo has seen a student visit Tono. Miko is also surprised that Mr. Tono has a friend. Gozaburo gives a wry smile, telling Miko that Tono loves cats, so he wasn't surprised at all to hear he got hit by a car saving one. A while ago, Tono found a mother cat who had just given birth. Since he couldn't keep them in his apartment, Gozaburo ended up taking them in, which even aroused the suspicion of the neighbors. Gozaburo tells Miko that Tono loves cats, but is afraid to own one, likely because of his controlling mother. Speaking of Tono's mother, Gozaburo frowns. The woman was extremely controlling and often forbade others from even looking at her son. Although Tono's mother is dead, Gozaburo feels he is still bound by her rules. Miko finally understands that the ghost following Tono is his mother. Even in death, she won't let her son go. It's a twisted, obsessive kind of love. Gozaburo genuinely considers Tono a friend and wants to help him. This reminds Miko of Hana. Now that she knows Tono isn't the culprit and is also a victim, Miko decides to take a gamble. She musters her courage, returns to the hospital room, and urges Tono to adopt the kitten after he recovers. The mother's spirit, however, opens its mouth and roars at Miko. Terrified, Miko backs away but continues to plead with Tono to adopt the kitten. As Tono hesitates, the spirit's roars grow louder. Miko looks up, stares directly at the mother's spirit, and for the first time speaks to it, telling it to let Mr. Tono go. With that, Miko flees the room. The spirit immediately gives chase. The twin fox spirits appear and slam it to the ground, signaling to Miko that this was the third time. The spirit is torn to shreds, leaving only a torso. It stumbles back into the hospital room, trying to grab its son. But Mr. Tono suddenly speaks up, asking it why it's there. The spirit freezes, then realizes her son isn't talking to her, but to Miko, who is standing behind her. Enraged, the spirit is about to attack Miko when the fox spirits catch up and blast a hole through its head. However, the two spirits are also injured. This time, they don't leave immediately. They stay and discuss whether to ask Miko for an offering. One shakes its head, indicating that Miko doesn't have the means to repay them yet, so they will ask her later. After their discussion, they leave. Tears stream down Miko's face. Tono, who can't see anything, wonders why the girl is crying. Just then, Hana and Yulia arrive to visit. Hana tells Tono he shouldn't make his students worry. Saving a cat is heroic, but what if he traumatized his students? Tono nods. He tells Miko the accident wasn't her fault. It was his own choice. At that moment, the cat spirits around Tono disappear. With the mother's spirit gone, they no longer need to protect him. Before leaving, one of them licks Tono's hand, finally freeing him from his past. A week later, Tono is discharged from the hospital. Miko entrusts the kitten to his care, completely ignoring her brother's heart-wrenching cries. Hana is amazed when she hears about this. She can't imagine Mr. Tono being affectionate with a kitten, but on second thought, the fact that he moved for a cat shows he's a gentle person. Still, Hana can't shake the feeling that Mr. Tono is creepy. Miko smiles, saying he probably won't be anymore. At that moment, Tono is at home thinking about what Miko said in the hospital. The doorbell rings. It's his neighbor offering him some extra food she made. Tono thinks about what Miko said about freedom. Does it mean being honest with others? He unchains the door and bluntly rejects the neighbor's food. He explains that he has mesophobia and can't eat food made by others, worrying about hair in it, and can't stand the food containers either. He appreciates the gesture but can't accept it. Besides, he's moving soon anyway. The neighbor leaves, puzzled. She had hidden the fact that she'd made extra so well. How did he know? Turns out he really is a weirdo. Miko and Hana's lives return to normal. Yulia, after watching a movie Hana recommended, thinks of her runaway mentor. Little does she know, the fortune teller back in her hometown has received a letter containing only the photo of Miko and Hana at the shrine. The fortune teller recognizes them instantly. Meanwhile, the real cat abuser is about to strike again, but Tono catches him and takes him down with a stun gun. The police also put up a wanted poster for the cat abuser. Sometime later, the original homeroom teacher's maternity leave ends, and she will soon return to school. Hana drags Miko to buy some new snacks, saying she almost mistook a rock for a bun on the street the other day. Just then, Miko thinks she hears the ringing of the fox spirit's bells. She hesitates, wondering if she should go to the shrine to give thanks. After much thought, she packs some offerings and heads to the shrine. Miko doesn't know what they want. She had felt something was off about this place when she came with Hana, and now, being here alone, the eerie atmosphere is even stronger. Just as she's about to make her offering, the twin fox spirits and the large fox god all appear. Miko gets goosebumps. She kneels down, places the dango on a plate, and clasps her hands to pray. This is a disaster waiting to happen. The moment the offering is presented, the foxes look furious. Miko thinks maybe it wasn't enough and puts all the dango on the plate. This only makes the three foxes angrier. Miko is completely bewildered. She then sees that her dango offerings have rotted. A heated argument seems to break out among the fox spirits. Miko can't understand them and thinks she just bought the wrong kind of dango. She quickly offers up all her spare change as well. In response, the large fox god splits open, and a giant spirit emerges from its body. Miko wants to run, but hordes of spirits suddenly appear around the shrine. This shrine is clearly not what it seems. Miko is too scared to move, watching as the spirit gets closer and closer. Then she wakes up with a jolt. Her brother pulls open the curtains, asking if she was having another lewd dream. Miko can't believe she had such a wet dream, thinking it must be the fox spirits urging her to give her thanks soon. Miko gets up and gets ready for the day. Although she can still see bad things, she can now ignore them with a straight face. She doesn't understand why she can see these things, but she is ready to face whatever comes. Life seems to be returning to normal, but Miko doesn't know that the fox god and its twin spirits have their eyes on her, and that's where this drama ends.